Holy crap, what do I do with all this? In this episode of Aston1936.com, I'm continuing my install of Aston Installations HD Infotainment Upgrade Kit. I've been working my way through all the components. Previous to this, we've put in the new screen, the power harness, the fiber optic bus interface. We've done all the custom fitting of the connections to the center console. We've even fitted the interior microphone. So now we're actually going to put the brains of the system in. That's this multimedia interface, and it has a number of components that go with it. So let's head over to the bench and have a look. So if we have a closer look, this is the actual brains of the unit. This is they call this the Multimedia Module, and it has a big multi-plug connector on one end, 2 antenna connectors, and an HDMI port on the other. So the device itself is just a magic box. The multimedia, the connector that comes with it though, is where we start to connect all the things we've been pre-installing so far. They're all labeled so we can understand, but basically we're going to hook up the audio from the fiber optic interface. This is the connection to the joystick controller in the dash. This is a connection we don't use. There's another connection we don't use. There's the microphone connection. There's the USB connection for the port we just put in the center console. And then it has a power connection that goes over to the power harness. So it has a bunch of bits. Also, still to install, we have an extension cable if we need it for the joystick that goes in the center console. So we may or may not use that. They gave us a nice handy USB extension if this cable wasn't long enough to reach up to the USB port that's in the center console. We have basically an extension here that's used with the most switch control, so we might use that. And then we actually have these two things, which I wasn't quite sure what they were. You know, are they chopsticks or whatever? But these are actually a Bluetooth antenna and a Wi-Fi antenna. And these have connections that come over and connect to the main multimedia module as well. These have stick tape on one side, and so these are going to be what's communicating to your smartphone. So we have all of this stuff to install, and we're going to head over to the car now, and I'm going to do a rough fit. So rather than just going for it and putting everything in with zip ties, I don't know if every component works. Did I hook it all up right? So I'm going to do a rough-in fit now and show you how it all connects together, but it won't be in its final position yet. That'll be in another video coming up in a little while. So let's head over to the car with all of this and start roughing it in. Well, we're back over in the footwell, and we can see a little bit of what we've got accomplished so far in here. We've got the microphone cable that we've routed up from the rearview mirror area. We have our fiber optic interface going to the most module, and off of that we have the audio connectors and a power switch. We have the main power harness here that's going to power up all the devices. It also has a connection for the parking cameras. We also have the connection we're not going to use in this video for the dash cam accessory connection. We've got the main connection that goes up to the new HD screen, and we have the HDMI cable that goes up to the screen. We've also got some other stuff here that I'm going to put in right now as we've done all this work to get our center console customized. And hanging off of it are all of these connectors. So I'm going to rough fit them now. And they're going to go basically down through this gap to where you can see my fingers through here. So I'm going to just basically start to pass the cables through there, one at a time. Just going to sort of sit this in sideways, pass the first one down. It's the USB cable. Pass the second one down. This is the multimedia or the joystick controller. Now this is a dry fit. So if you've got a front parking camera, you'll have this set of connectors for their little control button. And then you've got this momentary switch, most on-off switch connector. And this one's the shortest of them all. And I'm just gonna delicately kind of lay all this in the hole for now. I'm not trying to make a permanent install. Now, there's the 3 main cables, but there is this one short one. So that's the switch one. So I'm going to use the included extension that came with the kit. And there's a male and female end on this. I'm going to take the female end, line it up. And the way you know you're getting it lined up is there's a ridge on one side that goes under the lock tab on the other. So that's connected. So now I have plenty of length on that cable. So we've got these 4 cables down here to add to the mix as well. So we have quite a sea, and now to make it even more exciting, here comes the Multimedia Module's main connection harness. And we can start to interconnect the devices. So let's just sort of work our way logically from the front of the pile here to the back. So microphone goes to the mic in jack. And that's not installed all the way. You have to push it till you get a good solid click. Then we have the connections for the audio from the most module. So the white to the white, the red to the red. We've got the most module. This needs its power. We're going to come over here to the power harness. We're going to find the one that says the most relay. Same thing. Found the ridge, make the connection. All right, we're working our way back. Let's do the screen now. So the screen has this big connector. And down here we have one that says screen. So again, just goes one way, you can't make a mistake. Okay, so microphone's connected, most modules all connected. Next up, let's do these cables. I'm going to look for the multimedia, the joystick control from the center console. That's a unique cable. It's got a circular design with a keyway on it. That's connected now, so the joystick's hooked up. And this is the most switch. So we go over here, and this says, so that says switch on this label, and that says switch on this label. Same deal, line up the connector, just goes in one way. So next up, we need to look for the USB connector. There it is. So that's all part of the multimedia module. This only goes one way as well, so that hooks up the USB port in the center console. The only cable I have left from the center console then is the front parking camera control button. So let's bring over the actual module now, plug it in, and now we got the port we need to hook up the screen's HDMI. So it's time for our antennas. So the antennas, these are doesn't matter, either antenna can connect to either port. And it's a thread-on. It's the first antenna. Second antenna. So now we've got the main power feed to the multimedia module. It only goes in one way. There's some slots that line up inside here. And so that's the multimedia module all plugged in now. Antennas, I'm just going to sit aside temporarily here as well. So as if this wasn't enough spaghetti, to still be thinking about, oh my God, where am I going to fit all this wiring? If you're fitting front and rear parking cameras, I'd also suggest that you rough in them now as well. So this is my rear camera, and it has basically two simple hookups. It has a green for the camera feed, and it has a brown and black that gets power. So brown and black, it says reverse. And then we have the same for the front camera. And it has some of the same things. So it has a feed that says front cam. It has a power connection. So it's a red and black, and it goes to the red and black on here. And I'm sure James at Aston Installations would want me to remind you, these are the only two connectors that are identical that you could mix up. The rear camera and the front cameras have the same plugs, but the ground pins are in opposite locations. So this is a mistake you do not want to make. You want to make sure you're pairing up your red and black to your red and black, and your brown and black to your brown and black. So it's all well labeled. Just pay attention as you're hooking those up. Your last connection from the center console was the button control, and there is a set of cables also here for the front camera, and these you just line them up. They're gender matched. So this one says camera negative, so this one says camera negative, so that's a male connector to a female bullet socket, and then the other one hooks up here as well. So, and for the sake of the effect, there you go. Beautiful installation, all completed. But this is just the rough fit. Our goal now is just to see that everything functions. So I'm going to stop this particular video here because I don't want it to be too particularly long. The next video that'll be linked up here is we're going to do a dry run. We're going to turn on the car, and we're going to actually test out all the electronic devices and make sure all this stuff is working before we try to beautify and put it all away. So stay tuned for that video. Down here you're going to find my companion blog article. We'll have links to all the products and some of the other advice I've got to give on this project. If you'd like to be automatically notified, please go ahead and subscribe, and you'll find out when the next videos come out. And as always, I love to hear your comments. Please leave them down below. Oh my God, let's figure out what to do with this.